For the past 6 years, I've been creating art on my iPad, and last year I got myself a Wacom Cintiq, where I've made some of my favorite illustrations. But I've always been curious, what is it really like to draw on the XP Pen? And today the day has finally come. The XP Pen Magic Drawing Pad arrived in the mail, and I can't wait to see how it feels in action. The Magic Drawing Pad actually comes with 2 items, the tablet itself and a protective case. I didn't expect that, since you usually have to buy those separately. What excites me most about this tablet is its matte display. It instantly reminds me of the texture of a real drawing screen. Inside the box there's also a drawing sleeve, such a thoughtful surprise, and of course the XP Pen stylus with extra nibs. It's incredibly light, doesn't need charging, and even has a little space to store the spare tips. I really appreciate that kind of a detail. The XP Pen Smart Keyboard is sold separately, but it gives the whole setup this cozy little laptop feeling, perfect for sketching or writing on the go. A little disclaimer, XP Pen sent me those products to review them and to try them out, which I'm so thankful, but all of the reviews and all of the words, everything is my own. I don't get paid to say anything. Without a keyboard it is really light, which I really like, because you just like and go somewhere to draw. But the keyboard makes it really heavy, which is of course normal thingy. When you start the drawing pad and log in with your Google account, it brings you to a clean, simple home screen filled with pre-installed apps, including Clip Studio Paint. The Magic Drawing Pad has 265 GB of internal storage, and while you're drawing, it uses 8 GB of working memory. While it is still updating the Clip Studio, I will unpack the portable stand. The stand is really helpful because honestly this is what I was wanting for my iPad. However, it isn't that smooth and easy to handle. It is pretty loud, as you can hear, and also you need to actually see where you're putting the things to change the height, but it is actually cool that you can change the height. I subscribed to Clip Studio Paint for free for 30 days. I already kind of started checking out how the pencil works and everything and how it feels, and honestly, the matte screen on the drawing pad feels amazing. It kind of feels like drawing on a graphics tablet, which is so cool. I haven't expected the Clip Studio to have like those cool brushes pre-installed already, so I thought I would need to go ahead and like just search for brushes for me to try and use, but they are already having all of those brushes, and this is really cool. I finished the sketch on my flight to London, and this is what I want to finish on my drawing pad in Clip Studio Paint. I am excited to try it and see how everything works. However, it is a little bit tricky for me to get used to the new system. As I said, I have an Apple and almost everything from Apple, and it's been like this for a really long time. However, it is also exciting to try something new. I did had an issue to just trying figuring out how I can upload my sketch, because I did have it on my iPad and usually I use AirDrop, and this is all makes sense if you ever have everything from Apple. The most challenging part for me was getting used to Clip Studio Paint. I had to Google a few settings and tools I needed, but I was really excited to discover that I could upload my Photoshop brushes, which I did.
Honestly, the whole process felt very natural. I love how the matte screen feels, how light and easy the pen is, and how smoothly it moves across the surface. The stand was such a game changer. I don't know how I managed without it before. The colors looked amazing too. While the overall experience was wonderful, there were a few hiccups. I worked on a really large canvas, around 3000 pixels at 300 dpi, just to test it out. At certain points, the canvas froze briefly while loading brush strokes, so some lines appeared more slowly than expected. This happened only with certain brushes, and honestly, it's similar to what I've experienced on the other devices when pushing them to the limit. The finger gestures weren't very quick to respond, and zooming in didn't feel completely smooth, but it didn't bother me much since it didn't get in the way of my drawing process. The camera isn't high quality, which I wanted to mention, though it doesn't affect my drawing at all since I never use it on the tablet. I started drawing when the battery was around 80%, and after almost 4 hours of continuous work, the brightness all the way up, it dropped to about 12%. That's actually quite reasonable for the intensive drawing session like this. XP Pen also kindly offered a little discount for my community. You'll find all of the details and the code down in the description. That said, I really enjoy drawing on the Magic Pad. For some reason it felt effortless and natural, a real joy to work with. I am excited to keep experimenting with it over the long term, exploring different styles and workflows, and seeing how it can inspire new illustrations in my creative journey.